Hey everybody, my name's Erin, I'm with 352, and today I'm going to talk to you about Agile marketing. Now in this industry, as you guys know, things change rapidly, sometimes monthly, sometimes weekly, sometimes almost even daily. And Agile marketing really allows us to better adapt to those changing in the industries, as well as clients' changing priorities. You know, we can't build out 12-month marketing plans anymore because it's just not feasible. So in the old way of doing marketing, you typically have a project manager and then you'd have some support staff. You'd have a content writer, you'd maybe have a designer, a technical, maybe a data person. Now Agile marketing, we want to merge all of those onto us. Now at 352, we have three-person teams, three-person teams. And within those teams, we have cross-functional skill sets. We have a content person, a strategy person, and a data person. And those three-person teams work on a handful of client projects and only those client projects. They always work together, and that really allows them to dive deep into the client's business instead of working across 15 or 16 projects at once. Now, the beauty of these three-person teams is that they are all co-located. Not only are they in the same office or in the same location, they are literally in the same office, three people in one room. It really allows for enhanced communication between all three of them, so we know that nothing is getting lost between the cracks. So then the second principle of Agile marketing is going to be it's all about you. It's nothing about us. You know, we start our marketing process off with a sprint zero. And this is a deep dive into your client's business. Typically, it's about a day, maybe a day and a half, depending upon the complexity of the project. And we really get to know you really, really well. Everything from what's your top selling product? What are your goals? What are you trying to do? What are you doing offline? You know, we spend this time listening and not talking about all of these things that we're going to be able to do for the client. We want to figure out what can you guys do already? What's making you tick? So then we get to know your users really, really well. We believe that we can't really start marketing until we know who those users are. So we partner with our UX team and go through about a 6-week planning and research process before we even lay out any tactic on our marketing plan. And this includes things like a competitive analysis, focus groups, user research interviews, studies, surveys, everything just to understand the shopping and buying patterns of our clients' users. You know, we'll know all of this information, we'll know everything there is to know about the client's business, and from that aspect, we then have a really good roadmap of where we want to go with our marketing tactics. And that brings us into our next point, is that Agile marketing allows us to kill scope creep. So what would typically happen in a marketing process or even a development process, your client, you lock them down on scope. I'm only going to do these set number of tactics. I'm only going to work on SEO. I'm only going to work on your social media. Whereas your time and budget can easily fluctuate based off of what you have to do with each of those tactics. With Agile marketing, we're saying negative, not going to happen. We're locking you down on time and cost. We're going to say over the next 6 months, we're going to be working on your digital marketing presence. But those tactics will continually fluctuate based off the changing industry and based off the changing client's priorities. And so that means that we don't have change orders anymore. That we're not going to say, hey, okay, client comes to us and says, listen, I really need you guys to work on a graphic that we're putting together for our Facebook ad campaign. We're saying, okay, we can do that, but that means we're not going to be able to get to writing these blog posts that we already planned about. And the client says, okay, that's fine. So instead of issuing out another change order, which is going to be an additional cost to the client, we're just changing priorities within our already set tactics. And we work on these over 30-day sprints. So as I mentioned, we're not planning out 12-month marketing campaigns because we don't really know what's going to happen in 6 months for the client or for the industry. So month one, day one, we start planning. We say, hey, these are the set tactics that we're going to work on. If a client comes to us and wants to change something, we're able to iterate and be flexible with them in that. It's a very adaptable and agile process. So then next, we want to work on small tests over these big bang marketing campaigns. You know, we don't want to throw all of our resources or all of our budget on this one idea with the hope and glimmer that it may work. Instead, we want to take the client's budget, take your budget, and allocate it over multiple different tactics during a month or 2 months and see what works. This is allowing us to really make sure that we're trying a lot of different things on a small scale. So for instance, let's say we're running on some link building campaigns, we're working on a white paper, and we're running a small Facebook ad budget. over the next couple of months, we may be able to then see that this Facebook ad budget is really just not working very well for us, but these white papers and these content and these blog posts that we're putting out are killing it in terms of traffic and conversion and leads for the client. That's allowing us to take money from the Facebook ad budget and allocate it more towards our content marketing efforts. That's the really big principle of agile marketing. We're continually testing and iterating on these small scale tests rather than throwing everything out all at once. And last and not least, and probably the most important part of agile marketing and what we do here at 352, is there is no guessing allowed. It's really, really hard to argue with numbers when you have it laid out, and that's what we continually do through our process. We make sure that we run A/B tests and iterations, and we track each campaign that we're doing with URL tags, and we keep a really, really close eye on the analytics, because then we know how our clients' tactics are working. We know what's really working well for our clients. And as I said, if we come to the client and say, hey, listen, this campaign brought you X number of visitors and it brought you X number of conversions and actually increased your ROI by 5%, and we have those data to back it up, it's really hard to argue with those numbers. Thanks, everybody.